How transparent can we get on it?
You can get as transparent as you need to. This is our conversation.
I love it. Well, it was one time, a time where I got audited by the IRS.
So the need was presented itself.
Absolutely. I got audited by the IRS. And I knew that what, they were asking me to pay back, like, I didn't know. I'm like, oh no, I can prove that, I'm worthy of this.
Yeah.
So I actually fought the IRS 3 years. Oh yeah. I mean, I would go to the library. I would study. I would try to state my case. And after 3 years, I won that case. It was like, congratulations. It was so crazy because the amount of money and interest they told me that I owed them, they didn't give me back. But it was okay.
That's okay. But it did deplete.
Absolutely. So.
Hello and welcome to Studio B. I am Dr. MDH. No, not Pastor MDH, Dr. MDH. And I am here to welcome you into our studio today. We thank you for your viewership and we thank you for your fellowship. We thank you for joining us on Facebook, IG, IT, and Twitter. If you are joining us via any of those venues, we ask you to share us, like us, comment, subscribe, and do whatever you need to do so that you can get the word out about Studio B. Because with Studio B, we have a lot of positive things going on. Now, no matter what your platform is, whether it's Apple, Google, Spotify, or Pandora, please know that Studio B is there. Today, we have the awesome opportunity of joining us in our studio, our featured guest, Miss Yolanda R. Williams. She is a successful businesswoman and she's also successful in ministry. Welcome to the studio, Yolanda R. Williams.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Hill. I'm super excited to be here. I'm excited and I'm nervous. I'll tell you why. This is my first time on a podcast alone by myself and talking about my journey. I do a lot of speaking engagements at the schools with Pathways to Success, but that's more, so with a lot of kids, not just like the one-on-one. And I'm not sure how many. I think Pastor Holman said they have 10,000 subscribers, so that kind of,
There are 10,000 subscribers to, 5,000, at least 5,000 subscribers to Studio B. We're on the way to 10,000. So
awesome.
Yes, but believe me, you are in good company because we all hate to take a journey alone, but you have to remember, God is at the helm of all of this, so we are never alone.
Absolutely.
So just keep that in mind, and this journey on Studio B will be successful for both you and me.
Absolutely, and you make it so comfortable because we serve in ministry together.
Absolutely.
And this is the Church of Bethel's family. Everyone is like family. So
everyone at Bethel's family is family. I mean, and that's the wonderful thing about being in this particular place at this appointed time. And I'm just glad that God has ordered our steps so that we can come together in
Absolutely.
ministry. But the wonderful thing about having you here in the studio today is the fact that you have managed to merge success in business and success in ministry. That to me is absolutely awesome. So I would like for you to just start out by telling us a little bit about your background, who you are, who's behind Yolanda R. Williams, okay. Where you grew up, and some of the things that you've come to learn in life, whether you've learned it from your parents or you've learned it from other mentors along the way. Just share some of those things with us.
Absolutely. Well, as she stated, my name is Yolanda Williams, and I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas, actually across the street. I grew up at Greenhouse Patio.
Wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. And I remember coming to the Church of Bethel's family, wasn't in ministry, just, coming to visit. I'm the youngest girl of 5. My brother is 22. Didn't know my mom was pregnant at 42. I thought I was going to be the last of the Mohicans, but I wasn't. That changed. So yeah, I have 4 siblings. It's 5 of us. Mom and dad. Was raised in a church, raised Pentecostal. And that's all I knew, like growing up, church, serving, watched my mom serve in church and also others in her community. I remember growing up, we would be riding down the street and she would see like a homeless woman or a homeless man. More so, she had a heart for the women. And she would pick them up, take them to the house, clothe them, bathe them, feed them. And as a kid, I really didn't understand. I was just like, oh, okay, this woman does not, smell so good. As a kid, you just say those things. But growing up, I started to see that service was very, very important to her. And that's something that I kind of adopted, just seeing her as well. So
that is wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. I mean, because you had a firsthand example of what service looked like.
Absolutely.
And even though you didn't understand it, in time, God brings all those things to our remembrance.
Absolutely.
So that's wonderful that you had the example that was set before you. You lived the example.
Oh, yeah. Lived
and then
it.
after you lived the example via your childhood, you were able to mimic that example in life. That's absolutely wonderful.
And she would also bring them to church,
Really?
with us, and try to help them bring them to Christ. So seeing that growing up was amazing. So,
and I like that because what I see when I look at you, Yolanda, I see a total picture, and so I can see the heart to help people.
Oh, yeah.
But I also see the picture of what a healthy spiritual woman looks like, and so that's not an example that many children have to follow. So you were very fortunate that God continued to order your steps,
Absolutely.
According to the lifestyle that you led. Tell me some of the important lessons that you learned from your father.
From my father, working hard. Oh my gosh, my father is a hard worker. On his side of the family, my grandmother and grandfather owned a lot where they sold sand and grass, actually right down the street. So they were entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And so I believe that's why I adopted that. It's kind of like in my blood.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know too much about it because they passed away whenever I was younger. And it's up until you just learn the importance of entrepreneurship. It's like, hey, let me start asking some questions and trying to get the history of, from my family. And so I would ask my uncle or ask my dad more so about the business that my grandfather and my grandmother kind of ran. And
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
It makes me think of something that we have in common. My grandmother and grandfather were also entrepreneurs. They had a grocery store back in Sunnyside. It's called E. Terry's Grocery, and they were in business for 54 years.
Oh, wow.
And so that business side is a wonderful thing to catch, but not everybody catches it.
Absolutely,
Some people they know how to be in business, but they don't always know how to serve the community.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's a good thing about you, Yolanda, because you do have that in your background, but you know how to merge, helping the community, helping people, and you also
Absolutely.
have a heart to serve. And so for me, that's paramount. Tell me where you went to school.
So I went to school. Where you want to start? Because I'm only 21.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding.
Start at one.
Okay, so growing up, I went to Missouri City. That's where in my elementary, went to Ridgegate Elementary.
Okay.
Most of you guys know where Ridgegate is. We actually do Pathway to Success there. I also went to, what middle school did I go to? Went to Fundra Middle School.
Did
yeah,
you?
Mustangs.
Okay.
Yeah, right up the
Mustang.
street.
Go Mustangs.
So sometimes, serving in youth ministry, you have some kids that go to Fundra, and I'm like, yay, Mustangs. Went to Fundra Middle School, and then shortly after middle school, we moved to Brenham, Texas.
Okay.
So my mom's side of the family is from Washington County.
Okay.
And so we went to, I went to Brenham High School.
Okay.
My 9th and 11th grade year. And then so I have some sister cousins.
Okay.
We're cousins, but we're like sisters. And my 12th grade year, they wanted me to come and graduate with them. Although I was very active in Brenham, I was the vice president of my class. I was in Palm Squad. I was in everything.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And but I still moved because I wanted to be close to my cousins and also graduate with them. And so I graduated at Sharpstown High School,
Okay.
2001.
Okay. So you didn't graduate with your sister cousins?
I did.
You did? You graduated with them also? Mm-hmm. That's wonderful.
Yes.
So you had 2 graduations?
Well, no. I went to Brenham High School my 9th to 11th grade year.
Okay.
And then moved back to Houston with my aunt.
Okay.
And went to Sharpstown my last year.
Okay. And so where did life lead you after high school? Because I know that a lot of times our youth struggle with what to do after high school, life after high school, which is funny that I said that because that's the name of the ministry that we work in together.
Oh, yeah.
But where did life lead you after high school, and how did you finally reach the pinnacle of your success?
Okay. So after high school, can be honest, I really didn't know. I didn't have a plan of action. When you have parents who are working, and you're at the house,
Absolutely.
and you really don't know, and that's one of the reasons why the ministry, the Connect ministry, Life After High School, is very important to me, because yes, during my journey through, after high school until adulthood, I kind of figured it out, partnering with other people, having different mentors, also the different jobs that I've worked, kind of like taught me as I went. I remember after high school, I did a little bit of college, and it just wasn't, when people say college wasn't for me, it literally...
It's just not for everybody.
It wasn't for...
it's not.
Yeah, so let's just say that. And I always had an entrepreneurial mindset. So I worked at NRG. I worked little odd jobs, right? But one of the jobs that was very significant was NRG Energy. And I remember starting in the call center, started in the call center.
Okay.
Then they had this program called the Energy Advisors, where we would go and kind of like travel around and tell people about, it was Reliant Energy at that time, and then it transitioned to Energy. So when I say Energy or Reliant, I don't want y'all to think that it's the, different companies, so It's the same one. So yes, I was an Energy Advisor, and that was a part of like the marketing team, the marketing group, marketing department. And I remember, I'm always meeting people. I never meet a stranger, and I was always volunteering and working hard. And I always said, man, had I went to college, maybe, I would get a position in marketing. And I kind of like, just wrote myself off in that position. So I remember working hard, getting notoriety with the CEO and things like that, which was amazing. And
which is also an opportunity that college does not always afford.
Absolutely. It was the experience for me. And I remember it was a job posting for a position in the marketing department. And I was like, man, should I go for it or should I not? And luckily enough, I don't want to say luck, I want to say I was blessed with the opportunity that I didn't have to show any credentials that I went to school and had this degree. I was chosen for that position. And so that was just so amazing. And it just showed, how awesome God is, that I didn't have to have a degree or a title to be in the same position as other people who probably,
But that just shows how God ordered your steps through all of that. Because, who would think that someone who grew up in Southwest Houston would just walk into the path of the big CEOs, and you find this position that is
Absolutely.
Just hanging in the balance just for you.
Absolutely.
So that's God. That's God. That's absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. For a CEO to like know your name, we used to have this event called the Battle of the Regions, where all the different regions come together, and we would meet in Arizona. So it's like free flights, free hotels, just a lot of fun. And it would be this kind of like cook-off and softball tournament. And I would be the one to start the karaoke. So he would always look for me to do that. So, it was fun. It was a good journey. But I knew that in corporate America, you have a cap on what you can make,
Absolutely. And
I knew that I wanted more. I wanted to make more money. And so entrepreneurship, how transparent can we get on it?
You can get as transparent as you need to. This is our conversation.
I love it. Okay, so I was dating someone who had a tax office, was in taxes, and I always knew that I wanted to transition out of corporate America and kind of do my own thing. So he kind of showed me the ropes and things like that, and opened up a tax office, and I was like, wow, like this is a great opportunity. And one of the reasons why I was a little bit passionate about starting that tax office, because I don't believe just starting a business just because, of the money. Well, it was one time, a time where I got audited by the IRS.
So the need was presented itself.
Absolutely. I got audited by the IRS. And I knew that what they were asking me to pay back, like I didn't owe. I'm like, oh no, like I can prove that I'm worthy of this.
Fight.
So I actually fought the IRS 3 years. Oh yeah, I mean I would go to the library. I would study. I would try to state my case. And after 3 years, I won that case. They was like, congratulations. It was so crazy because the amount of money and interest they told me that I owed them, they didn't give me back. But it was okay.
That's okay. But it did deplete.
Absolutely. Yeah. So in that, I learned so many things because sometimes what you don't know can hurt you.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people didn't know different write-offs because sometimes you'll have those tax preparers that would just do the bare minimum and maybe charge $500 or whatever.
Let me interject something. That there was part of your college education.
Oh, absolutely.
In that experience by itself.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful.
Definitely a self-learner. And so I opened up a company and I said I want to help people kind of like get more money back from their return.
That's wonderful. Now tell me a little bit about maybe a mentor or two that kind of helped to shape your journey.
Oh, I have a lot of mentors. Some of them didn't know they were my mentors.
That's okay. That's okay.
Well, it was a young lady. Her name was Teresa Richards. Okay. She actually helped me with the opportunity to transition from being an energy advisor to actually working in the marketing department. Okay. And she believed in me. She knew like my gifts, my talents.
Wow.
She saw how hard I worked and she went to bat for me because, you will get some people who would say, oh, well, she's not qualified.
Don't I know it?
And so sometimes it can...
It jolts you.
Yeah, it jolts you, and it kind of took a little bit hit on my confidence. And I was like, maybe I should have finished, college. And the Lord said, no.
God has you where He wants you.
He has me where He wants me. And then so she helped me. She helped me with that confidence, and she went to bat for me. Not only that, fast forward when I joined the church at Bethel's family, you guys, Sister Booker, I'm one of those where I'm very observant.
Thank you.
And so I see, I watch, and I apply.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes you would just, feel me giving you a hug, and it's kind of like I'm just grateful just to be around you guys. Also, of course, our amazing pastor.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Oh gosh, when you talk about service, like he is the epitome, of someone serving in ministry and doing it for God. And
so you know what that says to me? That says to me that you came full circle. Initially, you saw your parents in business. You saw your mother serving the ladies in the community. And then when you walked into the doors of Bethel's family, you saw everyone else working in ministry. And so that service took on another definition, another venue.
Absolutely.
So that means that all of it came full circle. And that's the beautiful thing about your walk is knowing how you started and how you ended.
Absolutely.
And that's something my mother would always say to me. She'd say, sometimes you start and finish the same way.
Absolutely.
And so that's wonderful to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great tribute to your parents.
Oh, yes.
It's a great tribute to your grandparents, but it's also a great tribute to the people who have mentored you along the way, and to you for following direction.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times we falter, especially in ministry and in life, when we simply don't follow directions.
Absolutely.
God gives us this book, this wonderful book, and we read it, we hear it, we ingest it, but we don't always follow it.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes it makes our roads a little tougher than they need to be. But you have proven that if you just follow the word,
Absolutely.
if you walk daily with Him, success is yours to be had.
Yes.
And your success may not look like anybody else's
Absolutely.
success, but it's success nonetheless.
Absolutely.
Whether it's with a college degree or if you just finish high school or if you don't finish high school.
Absolutely.
If you just go to vocational school, if you just take a computer class. Whatever success looks like in your world, that's success nonetheless.
Absolutely.
So that's a wonderful thing to show us.
Yeah.
Can you also share with us how all of these experiences led to your journey in the world of business?
The world of business. My experience in ministry?
Well, in life, period.
Okay. Well, as I stated, I've always, I'm very ambitious. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and it's crazy being an entrepreneur. You're also serving as well. And I wanted to make sure that whatever business that I'm in, I'm going to want to honor God, and I do want to serve people. It's almost like making an impact while you're making an income. Mm-hmm. You know?
Oh, that's pretty. You know what? That's a good thing. Making an impact while making an income.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely wonderful. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, so how did you struggle in business before making it to Yolanda R. Williams, where you are today?
Oh, wow. That is an interesting story, and I'm so glad that you asked that. Because most people see the story, they see the glory, but they don't see the story behind it. Transitioning from corporate America to entrepreneurship is totally different. To say the least, it really is. And I made a lot of mistakes during my journey in that transition. And I remember when I left corporate America, you saw this success when I started the tax office, and I was partnered with someone, the person that I was dating, and then it didn't work out. And so I had to start all over. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was sharing with someone downstairs at the Church of Bethel's family. I was like, I have to start over. It's scary, but I know that God has me. And so Pastor August, he was coming down the stairs and him just being him. And he said, well, we have an office here. You can, as long as you stay faithful, you can have an office here. And I was like, what? Like, I was just like in tears that, he gave me an opportunity to kind of like start over, because, when you have a brick and mortar, that's like overhead. Absolutely. And, it's just a lot of expenses that I didn't have.
Absolutely.
And so I was able to sustain my business. Mm-hmm. And then from taxes, I always thought, I said, what is that business I can also get into that people will need? I always think about that because I'm a strategic thinker. I say, okay, people will need, you can't go without, and I can be a service of other people. And it was real estate.
Wow.
So, real estate. People are going to need apartments. They're going to need a roof over your head. Absolutely. They're going to need a home. They're going to need to get into a lease. And so that kind of got me into real estate. But when I started my tax business and trying to transition into real estate, you have to sometimes focus on that one thing first, because when you're doing so many things, it kind of, knock you off. So I tried to focus just solely up on real estate. And I remember my journey, I didn't manage my money that well, or I didn't have a plan. I was too prideful to really get a mentor, because I've always prided myself on being like a self-starter or a self-learner. And so, I had to put that pride aside, and and so throughout that journey, I did go through a season of financial struggle. Okay, aka homelessness. Good thing I did have family where I can like sleep on their couches, and they supported me through it. But it was that season, but I never gave up. I always knew that God was taking me through, and He allowed me to go through that journey, so that way I can share my story with other people. And that's why when we go to the pathway to success, I know out of all those kids, everyone is not going to take the same journey. Right. They're not going to all go to college. They're going to go through vocational school. They're going to want to start their business. And it was through my, those mistakes that I made that I can share with them, so they won't have to, so I turned it around for the good.
That's absolutely wonderful, because I think that a lot of times people think that if they're on the path to success, that there's not going to be some failure along the way.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times the failure is not really failure. It's just a stepping stone to the next level of success. But sometimes we can't get past it in order to get to that next level.
Absolutely.
So it's very, very important. I think that a lot of things you said mirror the journey that I went through in education, because even with education, you can only rise to a certain position. I mean, I don't care where you are. If you're working in the schools, you can start off as a custodian and you're mopping the floors. Let's say you work your way up to being a teacher or a head librarian. You work your way into administration, and then even when you get to administration, there's only so far that you can go.
So far, yeah.
And then what happens with that, which really jolts you, is you think, okay, I can only go so far, so I'll never make any more money than this.
Yeah.
And then you start to understand that your journey is not about the income that you're making. It's about the successes that you're going to experience along the way.
Absolutely.
So that helps you with whatever the next step is going to be. And so I think it's very phenomenal that you come to that understanding, because I think that led to your success in ministry. So I'd like for you to go ahead and share with our audience today what levels you had to climb in order to get to your success in ministry. Because the ministerial journey is different from the journey in business.
Absolutely. Okay, so when you say what levels that I had to climb to.
Right. For example, if you started out in ministry and you were singing in the choir, and then you went to the praise team, and then you started working with the youth, whatever.
Absolutely. Oh, I love talking about this part. I do, because I love my church. I tell people all the time. And everyone I tell about the Church of Bethel's family, I'm like, guys, you have to come and visit. And they do, and they end up being, a member. So, I remember I can't remember what year I joined, honestly. And I promise you I'm not a rebel, but I did not go to the orientation. So I'm not really sure. I can't really tell you the year. What I do know is I remember coming to church, and one of my really good friends, Seneca Donmore, she was a part of the women's ministry. And I remember getting out of the relationship, and she handed me this invitation. Okay. Right? And I was like, what is this invitation about? And it was the women's ministry, what was it called? Transforming Emotions.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So it was this class. It was like 6-month class. It dealt with rejection, loneliness, and fear. And when I tell you that, changed my whole life, So I went to the class. I remember it was a lot of the leaders, Sister Jamie Holman, Sister Kathy, a lot of the leaders, in the church. They were a part of that class. I didn't know anyone, because I was just, coming to church. I wasn't really serving like that, because, I just started. And I remember one of the first questions was, if you didn't know me, you'd know, right? And I wasn't, I'm a people person, right?
You are. You definitely are.
If I don't know you, I'm like, I'm not going to talk about anything deep. It's this trust level I have to build first. So I remember answering that question. It came to me, and I was like, Lord, have mercy. And everybody's just sharing stuff, and it came to me. I said, y'all, I'm sorry, but I don't know, too many people, and I'm not comfortable. But baby, by the time I finished that class, because it was like 6 months, I was sharing everything. I was just like, hey. I even got called in the office by Sister August one time. That's what I call
Sharing too much?
Well, no, not share too much. I wasn't sharing enough.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, in order for this to work, you have to be transparent, because you cannot fix what you can't admit. Oh. And I was like, ooh, okay, well, I'm not going to do it now. but eventually, God spoke to my heart. And as I built trust within the ladies and things like that, I started to share. And then so after that class, it was an opportunity to go on a missions trip. My first missions trip was Haiti. Okay. And that trip was very, oh my God, it was insightful.
Yes, I've gone on a Haiti missions trip. It was very insightful.
You've been to Haiti as well? Oh, wow, yeah. It was. That changed my life. I remember going to what they call the hospital, but it wasn't a hospital. It was just like
no, it was not.
It was hot. It didn't have any air conditioning.
It's like a makeshift building.
Yeah,
yes,
it was. The files were in like Manila folders, and I remember leaving, and I get emotional every time because this was the pivotal point that really changed me in that area. But I remember leaving, and I remember like, man, I can't save like everybody. Like I want to help and save, and I just wept. and I was just weeping. And Pastor was like, everybody was in the van, and Pastor was like, just let her be, just let her. It was just that moment. And from then, I went on mission trips to Kenya twice. That was a medical mission trip, and that was amazing. I went on the trip to New York, where we service
with the women's shelter.
the battered women's shelter. That was amazing. And so I think it was going back to the Haiti trip. It was the Haiti trip. That's
set the pace.
Yeah, that kind of set the pace. And I think Pastor August and Sister August, they kind of, learned a little bit about me. And I believe, do you remember that time, Sister Dr. Hill, where I guess Pastor had made an announcement of anybody who wanted to join the choir or the praise team? And do you remember I showed up to the praise? Now, the praise team is only exclusive to a...
I remember, and that's okay because that's part of your growth. That was part of your experience. That's okay.
Yeah, and you guys welcomed me in. So I started serving in ministry, singing in the choir and the praise team, and it was just amazing. From there, it was an opportunity to serve in ministry as the choir director with the youth, and I'm telling you, we had a lot of fun.
Yes.
We served together. We sang together, cried together. I love the youth. I mean, that's like, I have a youthful spirit, I would say.
You absolutely do. You absolutely do.
So, yeah. And from there, after serving as a choir director in the youth ministry, obviously I still use my gift and sing a part of the choir and the praise team. But I also, together, we started a ministry, Connect Ministry, Life After High School. And with that, I'm super passionate about it because it reminded me of like those, the kids who had a similar journey that I, had. Absolutely. So I wanted to kind of like help guide them along the way, especially after high school when sometimes you just don't know your path.
Right. And I think the wonderful thing about what you've experienced in life is that you found your passion early on.
Oh, absolutely.
I know you kissed a few frogs here and there, but you worked through your experience at Reliant, at NRG.
Absolutely.
You worked through the experience with the tax office, a business that you still have intact.
Yeah.
And then you worked your way into the world of realty, and that's absolutely wonderful. And as a result of that, you're very successful as a realtor. And
Absolutely.
so tell us a little bit about your realty business.
So in real estate, I love real estate. I get to be a part of a journey for others that is super, super, super exciting. I love to work with first-time home buyers. I love to work with people selling their home. I love to work with business owners who's trying to look for a brick and mortar. So when I got into real estate, again, like I said, throughout my journey, I partnered with a lot of people who were successful, and I kind of either mimic them or ask, for a direction and things like that. And the journey has been good. I've been in real estate for about 8 years.
Wow.
Going on 9 full-time. I just jumped right on in.
Yes. You did.
Yeah. And so it's been very, very successful. I've been able to partner with a lot of people and learn a lot of things, and also still serve my community while doing it.
And I can see why you're successful in real estate. I think that it's partly because of your passion to help people.
Oh yeah,
because you don't actually mark where that journey begins.
Absolutely.
You jump in wherever they are.
Oh, yeah.
If they're a first-time home buyer, then you jump right in. If they are looking for a place for business, you jump right in. If they want to sell their home, you jump right in. So no matter where they are on that journey, you don't have a problem jumping in and trying to serve them in whatever capacity is needed. And so that's a wonderful thing.
And also encouraging them as well. Because sometimes you could be discouraged. And sometimes people would think, I have clients who never thought they can get into a house. They would see their credit score, and I'm like, hey, listen, let's put a plan of action together, because you don't know what you don't know. But when you know, then you'll, make those necessary steps to make it happen. And I tell them it all starts with mindset as well.
Absolutely.
If you believe you can do it, you can do it. And I ask them to trust me and to trust the journey. And so that's amazing too, just to see them not knowing that they could, or not visualizing that they can own a house because of where they're at financially, into being a first-time homeowner.
Let me ask you this. What are some of the hurdles that you've had to help some of your clients cross with regard to the mindset? Like they say that they want to own a home, but they're not really sure what to do in order to get that journey started. What are some of the things that you've had to help your clients to overcome in order to get where they need to be?
Well, a lot of times it's just the fear of knowing where they're at.
Okay.
And, because sometimes people, they don't pull their credit, report, and, or that maybe they haven't saved up enough money, to kind of sustain or get a down payment or something like that. So what we'll do is just get a plan of action together for them, and it will build that confidence, because now they have kind of like a roadmap, what would lead them to that home ownership. So I get joy in doing that and actually encouraging them. And you kind of see first they will come like this, like, okay, here you go. And then when we leave, it's like, man, they have hope now. Like, oh, I can be this homeowner. I can own a home. I can, own a piece of real estate here in this land. So, yeah.
And I think that's kind of the same thing that you go through when you're working in ministry.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to meet a person where they are.
Oh, yes.
You have to help them to overcome certain obstacles or certain barriers that have been placed before them in order to get to where they are able to serve God the way that He would have them to serve. And so I think that's important, and I think that's part of the reason that you are able to reach the youth the way that you have.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have the personality that never grows old. So they always look at you and see someone that they can automatically relate to, and that's wonderful. But I still say that it takes a certain gift to do that. What is your secret to being able to get in there and to reach those kids the way that we need to in ministry?
I wouldn't say it's a secret. I would just say the life I have lived and the journey that I've been on thus far. I'm an empath, and I can see that in the kids, because I was that kid, not knowing their way, or, having different insecurities. So I can see that. And when I see that, I'm like, Lord, thank you so much for allowing me to go through that journey. Yes. And because my last name could have been Obama, but it's not. It's Williams. So He allowed me to have this life, have the parents that I have, go on the journey so that I could be a service to other people. And I think that's where my passion for youth comes from, because I remember being that age. I remember sometimes being lost and not having that confidence. I remember being looked over, and, not having someone to pour into me, and just wanting somebody to see me, because I've been through that, I can see that. And so, and it's just a beautiful thing when you can actually serve in that capacity. So it actually comes natural to me. That's why I love them and they love me.
Can you share with us you don't have to give a name, one of the youth that you've had to work with that has been one of the tougher models that you had to mold? Can you just share your experience with maybe one of them?
Okay, well, it's a lot of them. It's kind of hard to, it's really kind of hard to focus in on one. But I remember, and I say that because, in the summertime, post-COVID, we would serve
Absolutely, yes.
at the camp. And, we had, one time we had Abbeville and Houston, and you know how that can be. But it was this one youth, I remember she said that she didn't feel beautiful because she was dark-skinned. Because now, colorism is real.
Yeah, it's
and
real.
What you see on the internet, magazine, video is kind of, someone of a lot of hue. And so she did not feel beautiful. And I had to remind her that God made her beautifully and wonderfully made. And everything that He created is good. And so I had her to look at herself in the mirror and tell me everything beautiful that, she sees. And she never had to do that. So that was like a vulnerable moment. I remember her crying. And I remember also just sharing with her that out of all my sisters, I was the darkest one. Like most of my cousins, like I was, the darkest one. And it was this one guy in middle school. He said, I mean, I always felt like I had a little bit of confidence, but you know, when you have that little kid that will tell you some things, it's like, okay, wait a minute.
And they're very honest. They're very honest.
He was a popular kid, okay?
Always.
So I don't know why, I felt like what he said was significant. But so he said to me, you're really cute, but you would be even cuter if you were lighter skinned. I was like, oh, yeah, it's cute. Look at me now. No, I'm just kidding.
Am I cute?
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I remember putting myself in that moment when my confidence kind of like dropped, and I knew she was there, and I kind of helped guide her through that. And I also shared that story with her. It's something about a youth you could be very vulnerable with, and you can share those stories without feeling judged,
right?
And it was just amazing that particular incident I shared with her, and it was kind of like a similar, kind of just reminded me of what she went through, and it helped her through that. So
wow,
it was amazing.
That's absolutely amazing, because I can see you doing the same thing with couples that are trying to buy a home.
Oh, yeah.
And they are feeling hopeless, and they can tell you all the reasons why they don't deserve a home.
Yeah.
And you are bringing to the forefront all of those good qualities that they have, that where they can be successful homeowners.
Absolutely.
And so that to me is absolutely amazing.
Oh, absolutely. And I go all in. I recently had a client where and if she watches this, she'll know exactly who I'm talking about. But I do this with a lot of my clients. So, if they need anything, like with her, it just needed a little bit of touch up. So I rolled in my sleeves. We were painting together and touching up different holes in the house.
Really?
Yeah. I even had a client where I was helping her move because, her family was out of town, and the moving company kind of got the schedule a little bit, mixed up. So
the hands-on experience.
Oh, definitely hands-on.
Well, that is absolutely wonderful.
Oh,
and you don't find a lot of realtors who are able to do that,
or
who are willing to do that.
I'll definitely do it.
That is absolutely wonderful. I really, really appreciate you coming and sharing all of that with us. If you had to share with us, I guess a tidbit or two of what it takes to be successful in business, what would you tell our audience?
I would say you would first have to have a mindset. Because everything starts with the mind. Okay. And through my journey, you have to be very consistent, and you have to be determined, because if not, anything can happen. Like, with me, homelessness. Mm-hmm. And I could have stopped. I could have went back to a 9-to-5. I could have, did countless of other things. But I knew that this is what I wanted to do, so I had to be determined. I had to be persistent and consistent. Most importantly, I prayed. And I served others. Mm-hmm. I served others. When you serve others, God will reward you.
He will bless you.
He will bless you because He knew and He knows the desires of my heart, And so if I can tell any entrepreneur, and get yourself a really good support system as well. And even if you don't have a support system, definitely lean on God. Lean on Him anyway. Mm-hmm. But it's also good to surround yourself with positive people.
Yes.
That's me. Oh. I recently had a 21st birthday.
Uh-huh. I like 21. 21 is good.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm grateful to live 39 years, so let me just go ahead and say that. But a 39 birthday, and I wanted to do a positive ATTEE party where everyone, it was karaoke, where everyone came in a shirt. I love it. Everyone came in a shirt, and it had like a positive quote, so you had to come, and you had to wear a shirt with a positive quote, and it was just amazing just to see.
What are some of the quotes that you remember?
Positive life. What is it? Positive life, mind, and vibe. But it was a lot of them. I would have to post the pictures, but I can't remember all. But I remember mine.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good. That's a start.
But it was a lot. It was just so beautiful, and just the energy there was very infectious, and that's what I love. When I'm in a room and I feel like a lot of negative energy or people complaining, I really feel like this anxiety, or I get this headache, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go.
To leave.
I have to leave because it, I don't know. we'll put our church finger and go out together. But yeah, so it was amazing.
That is absolutely wonderful. I think that is such a stark contrast from the life that you had to live in your homelessness.
Oh, yeah.
And the life that you have to live now. Let me ask you, with the homeless journey that you had to encounter, what were some of the things that you totally realized that you could do without? You know, because a lot of times people think, okay, well, I'm homeless and, you know, I can't do without this, I can't do without this, I can't.
Yeah.
What were some of those things that you realized, I really don't have to have those anyway?
Well, you know what? Interestingly, it wasn't the homelessness. It was actually serving in being a missionary and going to Kenya and Haiti and things like that. I learned that we can go without a lot of things. You know, what they deem as, I remember, like, you know, we would come and we would bring like stickers and nail polish, and they would get so excited just by the little
children. Yes.
Yeah, and here we are, just, you know, fighting over what kind of shoes we gonna get, where, what, you know. So it brought a different perspective in life. But the homelessness has actually shifted my mindset and allowed me to understand that I can do all things through Christ that give me strength. And actually, that's Philippians 4:13. Yeah, that is Philippians 4:13, and that happens to be April 13th, my birthday, April 13th.
Is that
Absolutely.
Look at God.
Look at God.
Look at
God. I remember just asking God. I was like, hey, you know, it's so easy to kind of like give up. I need my mind renewed. I need to strengthen my thoughts because I can give up at any time. It was so easy to. I remember listening to, I forget the pastor's name, Dr. Miles Monroe. And he was talking about this 21-day fast and focusing on God, focusing on those things that, you know, you want out of life and taking it to the altar. And one of the things that stood out to me was, or that I wanted to ask for, is to strengthen my mind, you know, because confidence is a lot, is everything. And so when you're in that state, you don't have a lot of confidence. So I was like, Lord, you know, and so I remember I woke up and it was during like the holidays where everybody having the holiday parties and events and stuff. So it's like food and, you know, a lot of things just going on. And the Holy Spirit said 21 days. And I was like, what? I was like, no, I kind of rejected that. I was like,
not now.
I remember ironing my garment, you know, for work. And it said 21 days and I kind of ignored it. I was like, okay. All right. And then so the second time I said, okay, obedience is better than sacrifice. So I fast for 21 days, but this wasn't just like a Daniel fast, or it just wasn't your typical fast. It was fasting from food. And the only thing that I can do is just drink water. That's it. Like water and just like a little.
That's one of the most difficult fasts
to
encounter. It really is.
It was difficult. And I was like, Lord, please just prep me. If you ever want me to do that again, just like give me a heads up, because that one just really hit me out of nowhere.
Yes, because it works on your physicality, it works on you mentally, it works on you emotionally, and it works on you spiritually. And that's a lot at one time.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of times we'll do a fast because we want to give up something. But that's just one thing. But when you are doing a liquid fast?
Oh, it was tough. 21 days. It was tough.
21 days of a liquid fast?
Yeah, it was tough, but it was
Did you
worth
get
it.
weak? What things started to happen to you, change you physically?
Well, after the third day, I had headaches, you know. After the 11th day, I was okay with being around people who are, you know, being around food and being around people who are eating and things like that. But in all to say like that, when people say you can do whatever you put your mind to, that I know for sure. And so that kind of changed the trajectory of my business. And from there, it's just been
That is absolutely wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yolanda, we have had an awesome time discussing all of those things that make you who you are. And we know, based on the things that you've shared with us, that you are truly a child of God.
Absolutely.
Because we can see the things that your parents have poured into you.
Oh, yeah.
We can see the things that your grandparents have poured into you. We can see the things that your mentors have poured into you. We can see the things that ministry has poured into
Oh,
you.
yeah.
And a lot of times, people can tell you their story,
Mm-hmm.
but they leave out all of those little important
Mm-hmm.
details that kind of shape and mold the character that they've taken on.
Yeah.
I know that through God, all things are possible. But when you actually have to live it and you have to walk that walk,
Absolutely.
it's not necessarily an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And then you can sit here today and smile about
Yeah.
it and tell us that you love working with the youth and you like helping people and you like working in ministry and you like doing your business, different kinds of businesses, I might add. So you have a whole lot to offer the world.
Absolutely.
And I think that it's very positive that Pastor Holman gave us an opportunity to bring your personality
Absolutely.
into Studio B so
Yeah.
that the world can see exactly how you can be successful against all odds. Because too many times we are. I mean, there are a lot of things that may befall us, and there are a lot of obstacles that we may come in contact with. But just smiling and being able to
Absolutely.
overcome homelessness,
Yeah.
being able to succeed, even though you don't know which direction you want to go in business, being able to take each little failure and make that into a success.
Absolutely.
That is truly something that God has kind of given you that you definitely have to share with the world.
Absolutely.
So what I'd like for you to do is I'd just like for you to tell us, I know that we have coming up a youngpreneur conference, expo,
Yes.
summit.
Oh, yeah.
So can you just share very quickly a little bit about that summit and when it's coming up, and we'll move forward from there, and then leave your credentials so that everyone will know how to contact you.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited about the Youngpreneur. We're still getting the details and the dates, together. But the Youngpreneur will be an opportunity for those youth who want to start a business. We kind of take them through that journey, whether it's marketing, making up, getting together your business plan, everything entrepreneurship. And I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. I have a lot of business partners who are going to come and, host different classes and breakout sessions and things like that. It will give them the confidence, because if I knew then what I know now, I would be a lot further. However,
You're where God wants you to be.
Absolutely. I'm where God wants me to be, because I'm telling you, growing up, I wanted to be this singer. And I remember, trying out for American Idol and things like that. Oh, yeah, that process is a little bit different. But God saw fit for me to have this life, and I'm definitely blessed with it. I think Martin Luther King, I remember one of his quotes, he said that everybody cannot be famous, but everybody could be significant, and that is serving others.
Mm-hmm. And that's a wonderful way to end.
Absolutely.
So just let us know exactly what your name is, the name of the real estate company that you work for, and you can give them your email address, and let us know, exactly how we can contact you beyond today.
Absolutely. So Yolanda R. Williams, and I'm with Hello and Welcome Home, LLC, working in real estate 8 years. I'm very knowledgeable and very patient. You can reach me on Instagram at Hello and Welcome Home, or you can reach me on Facebook at Yolanda R. Williams. And yeah, that's it. Oh, email, hello and welcome home @gmail.com.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Studio B audience, for joining us today. We'd like to thank Ms. Yolanda R. Williams for joining us and for sharing with us all of those things that we really, really need to know as we continue our journeys through life and in ministry. It's very important to know that God has ordered her steps as He will yours. So thank you again, Ms. Williams. You have been a wonderful guest for us to have today. I'd like to encourage those of you who are watching today, please remember that even even if you're going to serve us on the Google platform, the Apple platform, the Pandora platform, or the Spotify platform, please remember to serve us, and please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to any of those things that say Studio B. We are doing good things in Studio B, and I'm here to tell you that you will not miss out on anything if you just stay the course with us. Thank you again for joining us on Studio B. Have a blessed day.
Have a blessed day.